When the Tribeca Film Festival first launched 5 years ago, one of its goals was to create an awareness and dialogue about independent film. By offering innovative and compelling panel discussions, Tribeca got its filmmakers and its audiences thinking, laughing, and talking about indie movie making in new and provocative ways, proving that when Tribeca talks, audiences listen. Let's take a look at two of this year's panels, featuring a few familiar faces.
Very hard to structure an improvised movie. You have to build it in a way so that the characters can just kind of live through certain things and the plot will happen.
There's also a certain element of danger to comedy that I've always found, and I think that ability to improvise on the set and that ability to keep it alive is so important and translates onto the screen, much more important than the exact words as written.
To be funny is almost invariably to be surprising, and surprise is something that comes very naturally and organically out of a very specific moment that can never be reconstituted exactly the same way.
Improv is really important when you are not that good of a writer.
It's not like a normal movie where they'll remove a few scenes or they won't use your close-up or something. In this case, they might not use anything you said for maybe 2 weeks. Might not do it.
When you're doing a comedy, like the kind of things that I've done, at least, you're sort of there. Your first goal is to kind of serve that audience, the comedy audience, and realize, I think when you do any movie, you sort of, first thing you kind of think of is who am I making this movie for, and what is the ultimate, what is the ultimate audience for this film, and sort of how to serve them,
I think that is the main attraction with a lot of reality television is, when you're sitting there at home feeling pretty bad about your life, you can always see a supermodel eat a snail or a slug and feel better. And I don't think that's certainly not the films that Chris Guest does, for example. I don't think they are really setting out to humiliate anyone, and again, they're made-up people, they're made-up characters, sketched from life, but they're fake.
What we do is based entirely on having no credibility. So please don't try to assign it to us because it doesn't fit. It's fake.
Yeah, and can I add, as a fan of I watch TiVo, and as I told you, I watch every Daily Show. That's a phrase that Jon Stewart uses a lot. He says, "Well, I'm a fake journalist," in order to just deprecate in a way. But it's not accurate. No, you're actors. You're acting. Maybe just like in our movie, I take on my name. You use Ed Helms, but you're acting. You're improvising. You're writing. You're doing that. I don't know what's different than.
Politicians jockey for position to get interviewed by us. But then, and I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it. And it's this weird masochistic tendency. They think they're going to be cool. They think they're the one that's going to come off cool. But they don't. They don't.
I don't think the administration cares or looks at it or reads.
When I first started at that job, Stephen told me to hang my soul up in the closet.
If 10 years ago you had done a satire about a beautiful but brainless and talentless, let's say, hotel heiress who had a sexual act made very public, and it turned her into a star, that would be a satire 10 years ago.
Right.
It's not a matter of women or men. It's just, are you funny or you're not funny?
And it's certainly not a question of minorities.
Yeah,
minorities.
there's so
many. I mean, with the Wayans brothers and Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. I mean, it's not. I think yes, today the four of us are white males, but certainly it's just comedy, and it's just, you either can do it or you have a knack for it, or you understand it, or you don't. I think it's sort of.
I was asked here today because I'm white, though. I want to establish that.
Well, yeah.
Just so we clear the air. Other people wanted to be here, but they were not white or male.